Premier League is back. The first day of the season is upon us, and Manchester City travel south to the London City Stadium where West Ham will host us. This is going to be a tough game. It is the first game of the season, and there's always nerves surrounding that. How will our club, Manchester City, fare in their opening opportunity to get 3 points and get themselves off to a flying start? Now, we obviously know, Joe, that traditionally, under Pep Guardiola anyway, Manchester City do not start fast in the Premier League. We did a slightly controversial video on that topic just a couple of days ago, and it was great to see some of you give your opinion. Some of you agreed with us, some of you didn't agree with us, but recent history suggests that we do start slow. Is Sunday going to be the case? West Ham is a tough place to travel. They caused us a lot of problems last season in multiple competitions, knocking us out of the Carabao Cup, our own trophy. They knocked us out there last season, and then they took 2 points off us on the second last day of the Premier League season to make the last day of the season that nervous, anxiety-filled day that it turned out to be. But obviously it was a successful day for all of us all round. This is it. This is where it all starts. We've been waiting months for this. We've had our 2 preseason games, obviously not ideal, only having 2. Maybe that is the reason we start slow. We lost the Charity Shield last week to Liverpool, didn't we? But if we are conspiracy theorists, we lost the Charity Shield last season to Leicester and went on to win the Premier League. We lost the first day of the season to Tottenham and went on to win the Premier League. Now, obviously, I'd rather win on Sunday. Joe, how do you feel going into this? City are back. How are you feeling about the overall vibe going into the new season?
I am cautiously optimistic. I can't really be totally up there after the Community Shield. Obviously, it doesn't really matter, let's be honest. I don't think many of us were taking it too seriously, but it still would have been nice to win, to be honest, because you want to get into the rhythm early on and, get a groove going, because starting slow is... Like you said, we do it every year. We seem to be quite okay with starting slow because, you just look at 4 Premier Leagues in 5 years. It doesn't really seem to affect us, but it'll be nice to get off to a quick start because then the pressure later on in the season isn't as high and maybe we can, focus on other things. Like I like to see us have a little bit of a points gap sort of February time when the Champions League kicks in and you could start rotating in the league a little bit and just focus on, the knockout competitions because we want to win everything. We're competing for every single trophy. We want to try and win every single trophy. And obviously, if you have a bit of a cushion in the league, then that just helps because there's a little bit less pressure and you can rotate. But masters of our own downfall. If we start slow again, which I think we will. I think it's inevitable that we will start slow against West Ham. It might take us, it took us half an hour to get into the game against Liverpool. It might only take us 20 minutes this time. Time will tell, of course. You're hoping if Haaland gets another chance from about 6 yards, he's not going to crack it off the bar and put it into space. So, yeah, I've already taken him out of my FPL team for this weekend, just for this weekend, because, Harry Kane's got Southampton. I think, that's not important. Look, it's just important to try and get the rhythm. This is where it really starts. Like I said, we weren't really paying too much attention to the result of the Community Shield. It was more the performance, how we played, were we rusty? And we were. So this is where it really starts. And again, if we lose, it's not the end of the world. Of course, we want to win, but it would just be on form for us to drop points here because we seem to just do this to ourselves.
It would be absolutely typical City to go out and drop points and, like a 1-0 loss or something like that. And Haaland does crack one off the crossbar. And immediately the guns come out from the world's media and rival fans that the City have fallen off and, all that money spent and you bring in one of the world's best strikers and you can't even beat West Ham. Look, it is what it is. There's not a huge amount of pressure on this game. Whilst it's a Premier League fixture, there's still not a huge amount of pressure on it. But with that said, we do want to start fast if possible. There's another week of training under the belts of the players since that Community Shield. You would like to think they've tightened up and sharpened up and worked on a few things. But you have to take into consideration that we didn't have a big preseason. There is every possibility that we're still a little bit rusty. And if Haaland is to start, I think the world will be looking at this game to see, does Haaland start? We have him in our predicted 11, as you'll see on screen beside us. Have a look at that. Get down below in the comments. Let us know what you think of our predicted 11. I think it's the exact same, except for the fact that we took out Grealish and put in Foden on the left wing. But if Haaland does start, it's his first ever Premier League game. It's his introduction to the Premier League. It's a new feeling, a new vibe, a new stadium he's never played in before. At least I don't think so. Anyway, you're gonna have to give this kid time. You know, maybe he will come out and do what he did in the Bundesliga and the Champions League and in the Austrian league and everywhere he's been so far, and put a hat trick past West Ham, and we'll all be going, thank God we got our first 3 points. But whilst I did say that, and some of you may disagree with me, that there's not a huge amount of pressure on this game because it is only the first. You do want to win it. Winning breeds winning. You really want to get those first 3 points. Get that bit of confidence under the belt. Get that feeling for the squad that right, we've clicked into gear. This is it. We're here. We've arrived. The league has started. Let's get into a flow. Let's get into a rhythm. Rhythm is a word you used there as you spoke, and I think rhythm in football is absolutely imperative, both in the way you play on the pitch. You want to play in a rhythmic style. City do play in a very rhythmic style when we're in full flow, but you also want to get into a rhythm in winning games. You don't want to look at every single game and go, oh, is this different to the last, or this is more losable, or this is more winnable, and start to frazzle your head. You want it to be a case of, nah, every single game you go into, we won the last, we won the one before that as well, let's go into this and win this. Rhythmic. And that's why we can put 12, 13, 14 game winning streaks together. But the opposition this Sunday is not an ideal opposition that you want to be facing on the first day. We've got Bournemouth at home the following week or next week, and that's an extremely winnable game. That's arguably one you would much rather have on the first day of the season. Get that first win under your belt. The first win is absolutely huge in the Premier League, especially if you're challenging for the title. You want to get your first win as soon as possible. Get your feet in the ground, get off the mark and all that kind of thing. West Ham will have a very similar mindset. They'll want their first win. They will be pushing hard for European football this season. They just missed out on winning the Europa League last season, and they kind of fell off in the Premier League towards the end. David Moyes and his boys, excuse the pun there, I didn't even mean that. They will want to get back into those European spots and get back where they feel they belong. And they're a good team, some seriously good players. Declan Rice in the middle of the field, he's going to pose challenges. He's going to try and break up our attacks. There's going to be a lot to watch. It's going to be a very tactical game. If we want to win this, ideally, Joe, we want to be 20% sharper, fitter, faster, and overall better than we were in the Charity Shield.
20% minimum, really, because especially given the first 30 minutes in the Charity Shield, we could really be much worse. Everyone was completely off it. We need everyone to just click again, rhythm. Pep's football sometimes by the media and by rival fans gets labelled as boring because it's rhythm. It's very robotic at times. The same things, pass. It's, it's the way he plays football. Like we obviously, we're used to it. We love it because it wins us games and it wins us titles. But from sometimes onlookers looking in, just trying to watch a game of football, seeing us have 70% of the ball and just pass it around for an hour, and it result into a chance going into row Z because we can't finish. Hopefully Haaland will fix that one. People labelled it as quite boring, and obviously this year, hopefully it will be slightly different. And again, like West Ham, I'm going to be honest, I am not certain on how many games they played in pre-season. I do not know. But again, like they took 2 points off us at their place last season towards the end of the season, albeit our squad was very injured and very makeshift, especially defensively. It's almost countered this time by the fact that although we have the players, we're not match fit. We're not ready to go and put together a 14-game win streak. Hopefully we will. But again, like if you look at the way that we played against Liverpool, you'd suggest that we might drop a couple of points at the start of the season. And if you're looking at West Ham, very difficult. Like you said, they want to push for Europe. They just missed out on Europa League. If they would have won on the final day, they would have got it and pushed United down into the Conference League, which would have been funny. But they want to push. They want to push as high as they can. They're spending money. They signed that Scamacca, I think. I think that's how you pronounce it, from Sassuolo. He's like 6'5". Like, you'll see in the predicted 11, we have Nathan Ake. If he targets Ake, I'll be a little bit worried because although he's quite good in the air for how short he is, he's short. Like, that's not a matchup that I favour. And obviously, we're kind of a bit tied here because, like you said, with the rhythm, we've had 3 players who were with the under-21s or under-23s, whichever age group it was, for pre-season. So Stones, Gundogan and Foden, even though we've put Foden in to start because he came off the bench and looked so good, but you look at John Stones and go, well, how was his pre-season? Is he ready? I'd much rather have him, but Ake played his pre-season, so you'd say he's probably closer to being match ready. So I don't know, this could be very, very difficult, like you said. And again, West Ham are a team that have improved a lot, and they've managed to keep hold of their key players, and they've managed to sign some players who, on paper at least, should improve them. And I imagine that they'll be pushing for that Europa League and possibly winning the Conference League. So while they don't have that going on, they'll want to rack up as many points as quickly as possible.
With the competitive nature of our squad and the rotation that goes on, everybody wants to play as many games as possible. That's why Zinchenko and Jesus left. They felt they weren't going to get those games they wanted. So it's these early games where the players who get these early opportunities, i.e. Nathan Ake, who we think will play, if he wants to feature more, the week after and the week after, you're only as good as your last performance. You need to keep putting in good shifts. The reason we took out Grealish and put Phil Foden back in is because Grealish simply wasn't good enough against Liverpool. If Phil Foden has a stinker of a performance against West Ham, you will look back to Jack Grealish. That's the competitive nature of a winning squad. These players will want to solidify their places in the mind and plans of Pep Guardiola as much as possible, and you can only do that through performance. First impressions of the season, it will be for these players in both Pep Guardiola's eyes and the fans' minds. Like I said, the result is not there's not a huge amount of pressure on it. You obviously want to win every single game, but it's not a live or die situation. But what we want to see as fans is the team clicking into gear, getting into that rhythm, showing signs of gelling together, getting those new players involved. I'd love to see Calvin Phillips get a run out. I think we will see Julian Alvarez. You see signs that they're gelling together and things are starting to work, and that there's a sign of yes, progress. I know we're champions, but you always want to keep progressing. You want to keep moving forward, and it's a tough fixture. It's a great fixture. It's a fixture we should all be looking forward to. A massive club in West Ham against the champions of England on our opening day of the season. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Now, before we get into our score predictions, I want you guys to do me a massive favour. Get down below in the comments. Give us your thoughts on the starting 11. Hit the like button if you would, and hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 4K by Christmas. That is the goal. That is the plan. And only you can help us do that. Hit the big red subscribe button. It would be massively appreciated. And give us your score predictions down below in the comments. We're going to give you ours now. And Joe, you are going to deliver the 1894's first score prediction of the season. City West Ham. Who's going to score, and what is the score?
I'm going to go for a very cagey 1-0. I'm not entirely confident on us, playing at our best. But again, we have the talent in our squad and the ability to just nick a 1-0 win. That's what champions do. They can get results when they don't necessarily play well, and I think Haaland will finally get off the... I say finally, it's been one game. I think he'll get off the mark. He'll get his first competitive goal. Finally! He'll do it. He's not going to crack the bar. He's going to score, and we're going to get a 1-0. It'll be shaky as anything. I don't really have an analogy that's coming to head at this point, but I think we will get over the line, and I hope I'm right.
So 1-0 and a Haaland goal, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, 1-0 and a Haaland goal from Joe. Finally, we're also impatient City fans. We wanted to score. It's not come soon enough. Joe says 1-0 and a Haaland goal. I'm going to say a 2-1 City, but West Ham will score first, and we'll be sitting here on our watch-along. Come and join us on Sunday live for a watch-along. We'll be sitting here nervous and shaky saying, I can't believe it, we're about to bottle the open day of the season yet again, but we will come back and win 2-1, and I'm going to give you 2 goal scorers, okay? For those of you who've been a part of this channel for a long time,
here we go.
I'm going to say Erling Haaland's going to score first, and you OG subscribers know Jack Grealish is going to come off the bench and bag a winner. He carried us through the last game in West Ham away, and he's going to carry us through this one off the bench. People, please, Grealish. Please, Grealish, please score for me. I'm predicting you every week for months now. It's going to happen, right? 2-1 from me, 1-0 from Joe. Get down below, like I said, get involved, start conversation. Let's see what you're thinking about this game. Score predictions, who's going to play, how are you feeling about it? Like, subscribe. We'll see you on Sunday about 10 minutes before kickoff. Don't know what time kickoff's at. Live for a watch along. Get involved in the chat. Speak to me and Joe. We'll be here watching the match live. Good night and God bless.